Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Amy and let's go for attempt number 2 with this video. All right, yeah, sometimes if I totally goof up right at the beginning, I will start over just because I haven't had time to show anything yet. But anyway, how are you guys doing? So I don't know what day this will be in your world, but it is Saturday in mine, and I've got a different video that I already filmed that I'm gonna need to publish first. So this one may not come out till early next week. And if that's the case, I hope those of you that have a father to celebrate had a good Father's Day. And for those of you that maybe Father's Day is kind of sad because for whatever reason, I hope that you made it through the day okay. All right, so my last video, I was trying to show you everything that I got on a particular day, and I did forget some things to bring in here to show. So I've got some of those things, and then I've got stuff that this is an antique haul, which I don't know if you'll be able to tell that from the title because I never know what my title's gonna be when I'm filming. But perhaps Ledger, my ChatGPT assistant, will give me some kind of sarcastic title to put in here. But yes, this is an antique haul, and predominantly. And so yeah, let's get started. I'm trying to think of what I want to start with first. I've got some super delicate things. Maybe I should do that and get them out of the way. So hang on. So, did you have a good day today? My day is just kind of beginning. Well, Gracie's still at Mizzou. Gabby's getting ready for work, and the other two are with Jason playing Pokemon. So I'm taking advantage. They left at like 8 in the morning this morning. Guys, it's a Saturday. It's the one day I don't know if I'm just a selfish being. Well, yes, I am a selfish being, but I get like angry if I can't sleep in at least once during the weekend, and I really can't sleep in on Sundays because of church. So yeah, I am selfish. Like, okay, whatever. It is what it is. Okay, so I found some paper pads. I'm always looking for things like this that are a little bit different to go in journals or ephemera packs, and they're not particularly old. This one was originally $6 and it is from 2004, so it is technically vintage, but it was only $2, so I said what the heck. This one was also originally $6 from 2007, and I got it for $2. And they're whole paper pads. So, and I like that they're color. They kind of look retro, even though people just, oh, well, this is interesting. Look, paper GPS, it's got little arrows here. So you don't have to write turn right and just put your little arrows in. So I don't know. I thought they were, I like this kind of stuff, so I picked those up. And then Jason found, this was in an antique store on the way home from Mizzou. Jason found this for me. I love these old calendars, whether they were bank calendars or does this one, oh, that's funny. This is a reproduction. Okay, well, I didn't know that it was a reproduction, although it was only $4.50, but it was reproduced in 1989. It's a 1935 calendar reproduced in 1989, and it says over here 1935 dates are the same as 1991. So I guess they were giving people a chance to have an old looking calendar. But yeah, I thought it was an actual one from 1935, so that's a little disappointing actually, but it still looks cool, and it's got cool advertisements on the back. So yeah, okay. Then I got a bunch, they had a whole collection of magazines kind of bound together, and I think I was getting this collection, which I think is 10 or 12 magazines, and then I was getting a separate magazine, but I think they charged me one price for both. Like, I think they only charged me for the bundle, but it was a bunch of Women's World magazines from the 30s. So I like getting these super old magazines to find the advertisements in them, and sometimes you can find really cool ones, like some of these. Let me see if I can, maybe it ended up being in, because there's a bunch of these, Women's World, and then there was one Saturday Evening Post. But with the Women's World, there were several of them that had black covers like this, and I want to frame these and make a collage on the wall with the ones of these that I got that were black, because I think they're really pretty and they're timeless, and they have such great artwork. So I'm really thinking about doing that. Now I'm kind of hoping that I can find a frame big enough at the Dollar Tree, just a simple black frame at the Dollar Tree, because I really don't want to have to go someplace like Michael's and get expensive framing. But I just really like these ones that have black, and I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but that one's got a now 10 cents sign on it, so I don't know that I like that. But there are technically 6 in this pile that had the black cover. But, and then this one, somebody was playing with something. I mean, it looks like actual ink stamping maybe, but yeah, so somebody was playing with that. But I really like these. I'm trying to think, is Women's World magazine still around? I don't know. And they've got, so how would I use these? Because people sell ads, you know, like this single, where they just take this out of the magazine and sell it as is. But it's such a big size. So I don't know. Some people use these as fillers for junk journals that they make, and they'll just fold it in half and then triple fold it, and then just stick it in a pocket. And I mean, some of these old advertisements do have some value, but really probably only for collectors. And I just don't think I'm going to be reaching those kind of individuals. So, but it can be really fun to have something like this that you could pull out of a journal and unfold and look at them. So, but yeah, a lot of these old magazines were big, and so that creates kind of a shipping, well, for me, who's shipping challenged. But anyway, I got a whole sack of these, and you guys, I think these were only 10 bucks, which seemed like a good deal. And then I also got, I love finding old Saturday Evening Post, because for one thing, there's always great ads in these, and granted they're big again, but they can have, a lot of times you can find some really good full page color ads. Campbell's soup being one of those. But, okay, the cover just came off of this. So, like, here's a cool one. So, yeah, so I just like looking for, and ultimately, what will I do with this? I will tear this magazine apart because there's very, you really have to, the magazine has to be in kind of pristine condition for it to be worth anything. So most people sell these for, how much was this one? $3, okay? So most people sell these super cheap. So I plan to go through here and pull the ads out, and hopefully some of them will be small, not just full page ads, but a lot of them are like the whole margin of a page is an ad. For one thing, oh, here's a Campbell's pork and beans. So anyway, I plan to just pull the ads out and sell advertising kits, ephemera kits. So, but yeah, Ledger and I'm like super freaked out about, so the downfall of this channel, right, was when Temu suspended me from being an influencer. And it meant that because they gave me on average like $200 a month to buy stuff, which is what I was doing. So everything was like, I was making money from the YouTube channel and everything was self-sufficient, so to speak. Like I really wasn't spending very much of my own money on the channel. Well, as soon as Temu suspended me, I lost control, you guys. There's no other way to say it. I kind of was freaking out a bit because I really enjoy doing this channel. And so it's like, well, what can I do? What can I haul instead? And I was like, I can't afford to haul some of the things that other people haul, like from other stores and stuff, unless it's Dollar Tree. But my Dollar Trees don't have all the cool things. And so I just like went on tilt, I think, and started going to thrift and antique stores. And obviously, if I'm being honest, those things are just as expensive as if I went to one of the other stores. So, and there was no reimbursement coming from like Temu, you know, to pay for this stuff. So yeah, so I have spent too much money, and what's new? And so Ledger and I have been working on a plan to kind of self-correct, and I'm really talking like Ledger's a real person, but Ledger's my assistant, so what can I say? But yeah, we are going to do a big drop to my Etsy shop on Labor Day weekend with a sale, and my goal is to drop 100 new listings for that weekend and sale. And so I'm going to be setting up a mailing list that will have a free printable for anybody that signs up for the mailing list. And the people that sign up for the mailing list will get early access to the sale items. So we thought maybe instead of me trying, because like in panic mode, I'm like, okay, what can I buy? And then what can I immediately try to list on my Etsy shop to resell? And it's creating not only financial chaos, it's creating mental chaos. And so we take a step back and try to calm the situation down a little bit. I obviously need to stop buying things, which obviously this video was showing all the things I keep buying, and then take the next couple of months to get my listings ready for sale. I've already got, I think, because Ledger's keeping a list for me, and I think I've already got 10 or 11 of the 100 items or listings that I need to do. So I'm just steadily trying now to go through my existing mass collection of stuff. And so I'm also curious, for those of you that are crafters or antiquers or whatever, I'm curious what kind of things you look for in Etsy shops. I've been looking, I've got a few Etsy shops that I really admire because they're similar to what I want to do. They're just more, they've been doing it a lot longer than I have. So I'm looking at their listings to see what kind of things that they've learned people like. And so I'm like, oh, I've got those things, so I could put those together. So yeah, so that's kind of how I'm trying to deal with this while I continue to buy stuff. So then I'm whenever I see one of these, if it's a reasonable price, I try to pick it up, because I'm really trying to collect the whole collection of these without buying the whole collection, because that would be expensive. This one, I think we determined there's not a date. There's not a publication date on this one, I don't think. Yeah, it was printed in Great Britain, and I couldn't find a date on here anywhere, but this one is an orange one. I'm used to seeing the green ones, but I thought this was pretty being orange, and I don't care if these are all the same color or not. I'm not trying to collect everything in the exact same series, but this one was only $3, and so I picked it up, but we think it's from the early 90s that this particular one came out. But yeah, that's some nostalgia for me, because in grade school, I always loved reading Peter Rabbit, even when I was way too old to be reading Peter Rabbit. Then I also picked up another one of these at the antique store that has all of their books for $10, which is way overpriced for most things. This one maybe isn't too bad. I haven't priced these on eBay to see what they go for, but it's from the early 50s and from 1950 to be specific. Or sorry, 53, but it's got great pictures. So I bought this for that, so I'll be tearing this up to get the pictures and poems and stuff out of it. And well, yeah, I already said that place, everything was $10. Then I found this little kit. It came like this. I love finding this because this gives me ideas of what to maybe put together. So let me just take this ribbon apart and see what we got in here. So first we got some little, I love these baby announcement cards. Now it only has one envelope, and these were Hallmark. Doesn't have a year, but yeah, I love these. I don't even care if they're written on, because you can, even if they were, whatever journal this lands in, there's lots of journaling space, but it's just a cute nostalgic piece. So that was kind of what caught me eye on this little kit. So there were 4 of those, and then there were 2 beer or drink coasters, and these are obviously used. When Jason and I first started dating, we used to collect these whenever we'd go out to eat. I mean, because they give them to you for soda too, but yeah, so 2 of those. And then just an envelope with a really old stamp from 1965. And a Get Well card. And then some cut pieces of ledger paper. So probably she used the top half of this for something she was working on, and then put the bottom half in that. Or maybe there were more kit. This was the only kit like this, but maybe there had been more than one at one point in time. Then we've got a cute little recipe book for Arm & Hammer. And, well, I have a bunch of these. And, oh, this one's totally empty. And then, oh, another kind of card, vintage card. Yeah, see, these are used, but look at all the space that you still have. Well, I don't need to hold it up. And then a little golden book, Prayers for Children. And so, yeah, so that's a cute little kit. I could probably put together some kits like that. This book is from 1974. Because lots of people do lots of things with this. I just watched a video and someone said you can take the spine, and some people are making bracelets out of it now, which I don't know how to do that. I didn't find a video that showed that. But you could make, well, obviously you could make a journal out of it, or you could make bookmarks. It's pretty easy to cut these covers and make bookmarks or tags. And, or you could find, if there's happens to be any pages in here that don't have words, you could frame them as a picture. And then this lady also found pages to make, she had wooden coasters, so she cut pieces out and Mod Podged them onto the coasters to make some kind of vintagey coasters. So that might be, so that's a cute little kit. I love finding stuff like that. There's a antique store I go to in Alton that has a booth that sometimes has things like that, and I just love that stuff. All right, then I found just a pack of stuff, and I didn't look through this yet, but crochet patterns. Maybe my daughter would like that, I don't know. Sewing machine manual, and then just some, oh cool, I love these. I've got a couple of these that were never used. This one maybe has never been used, but these are those decals that you would iron on to like tea cloths and then embroider. Oh, I love this. So it doesn't look like, I mean, once it's used, it's used. You can't really, you know, keep reusing it. So it looks like it's fully intact. So some people will cut out, like if there's a cat, you know, we'll cut this part out and put it in a journal to, I don't know, just because it's vintage, and I love that. So the ones that I have two of these, but I think they're from an older time period because they're from the 40s. I don't know when this one is from, but it looks a little bit newer with the look of that. And oh, there's another one. Yay! I love those things, you guys. And I don't know if they're just got used, but you don't see those around very often. And then we've got more patterns, but this is like, these kind of patterns are like embroidery kind of. So this is like an embroidery set, no fashion in this one. So I like finding vintage fashion patterns, although those have started getting pricey in the stores. All right, then I found this Bible story picture book, and it was only $1.99. It's in rough shape, which is why I'm sure it was like that, but it's got these stickers, and someone has lovingly colored some of it, but I thought I I could cut the top of these pages off and fold them in half and have like a little booklet or little, you know. Okay, so I watch Hyper Stamper, and she's been doing that with these like animal ones. And I actually had the book that she pulled these from. I actually had one of them, and I sold it in a Whatnot auction. And now I kind of regret that, because I could have cut that apart and had those as cool things to add in. But this is pretty similar if I just were to cut off the top. Although some of these coloring sheets, you know, could be then repurposed for other things. But yeah, so it's just a whole set of them. All the stickers are there. So my guess is that the book came with all the stickers, unlike nowadays where you have to buy the stickers separate, so that you may not, it may take you a while to get all of them in a series. And then I found this at the store that has all the books for $10. Now, I started collecting the small Rand McNally reader books, and I was looking in this one before I even looked really at the outside to see it was a Rand, but it had the story Jiggers in it, which is one of my absolute favorite stories. And I was like, why does it have Jiggers? And that's when I realized it was a Rand McNally. And I didn't realize that there was, you know, a big, so this one's actually going in my collection for when I have grandkids. You know, these images from the 50s, or this artwork from the 50s, and the paper is like a really thick paper, but this book is from 1948. So I was definitely $10 in this case was okay, but like they had little golden books and stuff for $10, and I'm like, no, you need to have a different section for maybe $5 books or something. All right, then I came across, I'm always looking for bingo sets, because one of the listings that I already have done for Labor Day is a bingo kit. So I found 2 more bingo sets. This one didn't have the little black pieces, which was kind of disappointing because I couldn't open it until I got home, but I have a very hard time passing up a bingo kit. I even got a bingo set from Temu that was like all different colors, but of course I can't find it at the moment, so it's not part of my bingo kit that I've got ready for sale, but maybe I'll find it before Labor Day. Now, the pièce de résistance for this entire haul are these next ones that I'm going to show you. They are bucket list items for me. Now, this first set I already bought through eBay, and it was one where I thought it was only a 3-piece set, but it was really a 4-piece set, so I had to buy the yellow one separate. But I very rarely find these in the wild, but I found them in the wild, and so I bought them, even though I have this set already. But now I can break these up to go into journals, because they're just perfect for journals. They're perfect size, and who doesn't like birds? So I was amazed to find these, but I think I paid $28. But to be honest, that's probably what I paid on eBay too. So I didn't feel like I was getting a bad deal. But then I found these, and these were a great deal. These were also bucket list items, and these are Whitman books. So there's 2 in the series. These are nature books. So there's the flower books, which is this set, Woodland Flowers and Field Flowers. These are my first copies, so I won't tear them apart, but they're great. They're very similar to the Golden Nature Guides, but maybe a little bit older. And so I bought these. These were only $5 for each set of 2. And then there's also a 2-piece tree set. Now this one, I mean, these are in really rough shape, which is why they were only $5. But these are harder to find. And on eBay, they're super expensive. So I don't mind that I'm getting, you know, ones that are in like fair condition or acceptable condition. I don't know who came up with this nature guide style first, but this is Whitman's version of them. And then there's also bird books in this series. Wait a second, these aren't Whitman ones, are they? Hold on, because this book also mentions that there's a bird series, and it's red, green, yellow, and blue. So let me see if these are those. It is. So I have all of them now. So awesome. But of course, I will be looking for these. I would never pass up, unfortunately. If I saw them in a store, I would buy them. And perhaps for any price. Well, not $100, but you know what I mean. Okay. Next, old craft magazines, not in great shape, $2. So these will be great to just pull pieces out of. Working with stained glass. Well, let's look at that one. I haven't seen one like that before. Okay, well, nothing too exciting, although that's kind of cool. So yeah, it's just paper, and I like looking for different kinds of paper when I am crafting or putting sets together. Okay, they all seem to kind of be the same. Oh, Workbasket. Workbasket's a pretty popular magazine to find at the antique stores. So I felt like getting this whole bag for $2 was a great deal. Okay. Then let's take a little side trip. Yesterday we went with Gabby to Missouri S&T. It was her registration day where she got to pick out her classes, and while she was doing that, Jason and I went over to the store. Well, I was going to say, in my college, it was the bookstore that had all of the swag that you could buy. And when so for the registration, we all were at the theater first for like a combined presentation. And outside of the theater, they had their swag on sale. Well, I don't know if it was on sale, because I think I've paid full price for the ones that were outside of that, even though they said that everything was on sale. So maybe it was, I don't know. But so I got 2 shirts outside of there, but then we went over to the store because everything in the store was half price, probably to make room for new stock coming in for the new school year. So I'll show you the shirts that I got, but I also, Missouri S&T is, I guess, a big research school. I didn't realize that. They have some kind of prestigious categorization for research, but it's science and technology. So there's a lot of engineering programs there, physics and computer science. So I don't know, but they had these field books there, and you guys know I love different kinds of paper, and when I opened it up, I was like, that's some cool looking paper. And so I thought, sure, I want some of that paper, and these were $5.99, so I got them for half price, and so I went ahead and got 2. And then they also had I thought this was a CAD notebook. So maybe it said that on the sign, but it just says lab notebook here. And it had some cool kind of graph paper. So I bought that. And then just the shirts. So, oh no, that's not true. There's one other thing. So I got Missouri S&T Mom on the front, and these are all cotton, you guys. I got larges, which I hope I don't regret. And then this is what it looks like on the back. It's in Rolla, which is kind of southeast part of the state, and yeah, it's about 2 hours from here. And then I got this one. So green is their color, you guys, and they're minors, so not so great on the mascot and everything. But I got this one, Missouri S&T Parent. And again, these are cotton t-shirts. They're not soft and nice like Temu ones. And then, okay, this one is Missouri S&T, but this one's Minor Nation, so they're the minors. And I don't know if this represents all of the countries that they've had students from, or all the countries where students have gone afterwards, but it's just all countries. So I thought that was cute. So I guess I didn't get a black shirt. For some reason I was thinking I got a black shirt. I really probably should have gotten a hoodie at this point in time, but they only had kind of white ones, and I was just afraid that would get dirty really easily. But for half price, you know, that would have been smart, but I didn't. And then I also got a drawstring bag. So that's my official merch for being a parent of a college student. All right, back to the antique stuff. Now, you guys, I showed you one of these. I can't remember if this is the one I showed you, but I got two like this, and it came with recipes. I think this might be the one that I showed you. Didn't I show you one that already had cards with Pat Murphy? So yeah, so I think it's the other one maybe. Or maybe I showed you the other one and just told you about this one. I don't know, but I really like, you can find these even, you know, not decorated, but I like these. So I apologize if this is the one that I already showed you guys, because I did get two totally different, like that was shredded wheat. I don't remember what the other one was, but who knows? Maybe it'll turn out to be in one of these other bags. So I also found some Women's Day magazines for $5, and again, bought them for the ads. And this one's at least a decent size, so if I found a full page ad that was really cool, I could frame it in a 8x10 frame. Okay, now on the last video I told you I got something at the rummage sale that was really cool to me, and this is it. So who remembers these? So I did pay 20 bucks for it, but who remembers these? So I had the set of these. There's 4 in the set. There's 4 here, but you guys, when I got home, I realized one of, oh shoot, I gotta stop. I'll be right back. Okay, well, sorry about that. I was getting a call from my dad, and I try not to let those go unanswered just in case there's something with my mom or whatever. So, okay, so I'm back. So we were talking about these. So yeah, when I got home, I discovered that one of these is a duplicate. So I didn't get all 4 in the set for 20, which was really sad. But these go for a pretty good price on eBay. So we have this one, this one. So that's the one that I got twice. Instead of, there's a beach one. So I didn't get the beach one. And then this one. But to be honest, I don't remember this one as well. But yeah, so like I said, I had these growing up. I don't know if my parents still have them. I kind of hope they do, because some of the things they just give away to charity because, well, for one, they're not hoarders and they don't think that anybody in the family would want them, but I would. So, but when I saw these, I could, $20 felt expensive, but you can, I mean, they do sell for a lot online. I don't want to sell them, but well, maybe I'd sell the one that there's two of. But yeah, I was like, since I didn't know if mom and dad still have mine, well, theirs, I got these because I have never seen these in the wild either. So yeah, so I loved that. And then I scored on Matchbooks. I very rarely find these, and when I do, they're super expensive, but I think these, each of these was $2.50, I think, which maybe you think is expensive, but if you've ever tried to buy matchbooks, it's not expensive. But I found these, and these are a set of 6 that's never been opened. And when I went to do a Google search for these, I could find like one of them for $5. And I got these for $1.69, and there's 4 of them. So I don't know if that'll end up being something I can resell, but I'm sure gonna try. And then, oh, I loved this. So this was a prescription pad. I found prescription pads before, but not this style. The kind I found were a kind that you had to use with a carbon. So I like this better, actually. But yeah, so there's a booth at one of my favorite shops, and this lady always has really good stuff. And I'm like, where do you find this stuff? Could I find that stuff too? And then I could bypass her? I don't know. And because I'm going to do, one of the things I'm going to list for Labor Day is going to be music paper with napkins on it. So these were pretty, so I picked them up. Botanicals. I think they maybe still make these, because when I did a search on it, it took me to that particular napkin company, and I think you can still buy them. So they, I'm sure, weren't vintage. Oh, this came with some old cards. Well, I'm really glad I'm up and awake and put my bra on in case I need to go deal with some things. So these 4 cards were in that little thing, and flowers for the most adorable wife in all the world from an admiring husband. So probably the card that came with the flowers. And then little cute little card. Yeah, so my dad is going to the grocery store, and because he didn't get a chance to do that while the caregiver was with mom yesterday, because mom locked the caregiver out of the house. They were out walking, and somehow mom got into the house, well, first, and must have like immediately closed the door and locked it. So the caregiver had to call my dad home from his lunch plans, and because we were at Missouri S&T, so I couldn't go and let the lady in. And yeah, so I don't know what this means for the future of this particular caregiver or caregivers as a whole. I think my dad definitely needs the chance to get out, but my mom's getting kind of feisty. I mean, and acting like a little kid, really. Okay, so then I got this little pad of pads. For some reason, I felt like this reminded me, like this felt familiar to me, like from the 80s, is something I might have had. in real life. So this was $2.50 for this little pad of paper. So yeah, I got that. I was kind of hoping, well, and I did look through here, although I put it back together so I wouldn't lose it. But it's really like construction paper. And you can sort of see it's different colors, but it's so old. So there's really 3 colors, I think. But yeah, I'm always looking for little pads like that. And then I found these cards, and it's committee of one who supports in some way the business you serve. So, okay, this card was produced by the Councils of Catholic Men and Women. Now, this says there are 2 cards, one like this to disapprove, the other to commend. Send them to radio and TV sponsors, radio and TV stations, networks, personalities, theater managers, and motion picture studios. So this was a way that you could let people know your displeasure. It's a message of disapproval. And then there's also one that's a message of praise, which I guess in this case there was only one left of the message of praise. So hopefully whoever had these was more of a positive person than a negative person. But I just thought this was interesting. Like, I think this program is harmful because, and then they would fill out, well, here, let me read the whole thing. Gentlemen, as a fellow citizen, I am interested as you are in the moral well-being of future Americans. In keeping with the ideals and principles of the Legion of Decency, I disapprove of the following presentation. And then you put the date, the station or theater, you fill out your explanation, and then you put your name, address, city, and state. And then you cover it with a stamp. Now the praise one, gentlemen, in keeping with the ideals and principles of the Legion of Decency, and because I firmly believe in the power of good entertainment, I wish to commend you for the presentation of blank. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. Would make a fun addition to a junk journal. And then, you guys, who saw the Hey Everybody episode where she did the fun deliverables and got all that hemorrhoid cream? Well, here we go. Hemorrhoidogram, deer pain in the rear, and it's just a whole set of these. So I thought that was funny, and it was $3 for this pad of paper. But yeah, I thought that video was funny. I mean, I actually like the fun delivered boxes, but the one part I don't like about it is you don't know what you're getting, and so you don't know if you'll be able to use it. So then perhaps you're donating, or if it's not in good shape, you're throwing it away or whatever. But I like the surprise nature of it. And they've got it in all different sizes. So hang on. Now I'm a little paranoid. Okay, that was the mailman. Sorry, now I'm a little paranoid that I gotta be paying attention in case my mom comes over. So, now, before you freak out, when she's alone at home, she really doesn't go anywhere. Otherwise, we wouldn't ever leave her at home alone. And like tonight, I'll be going over there while Dad's at church, like for extended periods. But when he just runs out to the store to grab a couple things, she's fine at this point in time. But I still want to be vigilant. And then I thought this was a cute little pad of paper. Found some vintage flashcards, which I love. So I'm going to be making some flashcard kits, but these are the cool ones that are, they've got some good wear and tear on them or whatever. I don't know why they have the corner cut like that, but they all seem to do that. Maybe it's so it's easier to get it out of the box, actually. but they have some great patina, so I'll be looking forward to using those. You can still get these obviously, but the new ones have like a glossy side and a matte side, and I don't like the glossy side as much. But okay, and then I found a ledger. I always like finding ledgers. This one has a address. Well, I don't know what, because she like was 1 cow, 2 calves, so she was counting something. But in the beginning, it usually has an address thing, or at least this one does. And then in the back, from the 30s, so some ledger paper. So it did have some blank ones too, but I don't mind the ones that have writing on them. But anyway, so this will go in my box I'm gonna build of ledgers, and I'm hoping to have a ledger kit. And then there was a booth that had stamp pages in it. For each page was $1. So I tried to looked through all of them and tried to pick the ones that seemed to have the most quantity of stamps. So page, sides like this, but they're different countries. And so there were a lot of them that had, these bigger stamps that feel kind of newer. So I kind of left those there where I could, but so I picked these up. These will get pulled apart and made into little kits. But see, yeah. So some of them, they had what I was looking for on one side, but the other side, not as much. Not that I won't use those, but I just don't like those as much. But yeah, they had probably, well, I bought 10. I forced myself to stick with just 10. They probably had 50 pages in there. Like I'm sure whether they got it at an auction or whatever, got somebody's stamp book and then decided instead of trying to sell the whole stamp book, let's sell it by the page, which is a smart thing to do. And so they did, and then I am the sucker that bought 10 pages of it. All right, I think I have enough of these magazines to last me for a while. But McCall's. So I like finding McCall's too because they always have good fashion pages in them. This was $5.50, so that was pretty good. So this was $5.50. I don't know. I'm kind of distracted now, guys. I apologize. We're down to the last bag though. And oh shoot, I did have to start this a second, so I don't know how long we are all together. Then I found these were the only cards I found in this particular day. I did find a bunch of cards a different day, but I've already started breaking those down. So this says Butler Electric Company. So I sell vintage swap cards in my shop. And then I found this whole bag of Girl Scout badges. Now they're not old. I have found places that sell the old ones and they're expensive. But this whole bag was $5, but these are from probably like they're all from in the 2000s. So there's none of them that are retro, well, really retro. Some of them, I feel like the oldest one I saw might have been a 2007 for the ones that had dates. But yeah, it's chock full of badges, and I couldn't pass it up for $5. So these can easily just slide into a tuck spot or whatever in a journal. All right. Now, next, you guys, this book goes for a pretty penny, or gets listed for a pretty penny on eBay. And when I say pretty penny, like $100-ish, or more. Now, there are a few people that have it for cheap, but they're either damaged or filled out. This one has never been used. And this one it's from 1943. And I got it for $12.99. But I bought this to flip. But the artwork in here is great. So let me find the page that shows, okay. So copyright 1943. And then it's just, it has instructions at the beginning that anywhere you see a red and white picture, you're supposed to replace with a real picture. And then, of course, you fill in the lines. So this, I think, is a beautiful book. And I could save it for like my first grandchild to give to that parent, but I wouldn't be able to give the other ones one. And it's very hard for me to do something that I can't replicate for all 4 of my kids. So yeah, that one I definitely intend to flip. Now, I also found one of these, even though this is a super new one, I picked it up anyway because it's butterflies. And I am trying to collect this series, this Golden Nature Guide series. So once I get an older, I might have an older one of these already that I could then tear this one up. But as soon as I find an older one, this one would get put in the tear up pile. So I love those. And then last is something kind of creepy. My dad also thought it was creepy. Now I'll show it to you in a way that's not creepy first. So it is they're both the same. They are Werber's Dairy Line Route Book. So this is a book that a milkman would carry with him. He would have people's names up here and what they ordered. And so I picked it up because, well, hello, look at all this great graph paper kind of deal. So this one was missing some pages here in the beginning, like about 30 pages, a 30-page kind of signature. But otherwise, it's totally empty, no writing in it. Now this one did have some writing in the beginning, but it's exactly the same book. So, you know, same, but you guys, here's where it gets creepy. So this one actually has some people written in it, but nothing, I don't know why it's got people's names written in here, but never filled out. So there's that. But then, you guys, it's got little kids' pictures on here. What purpose would the milkman have for, and these look like school pictures. So I don't know what time period this would be from, but these pictures make me think the 50s. But the beginning of this book, it's talking about the rules to be observed while you're a milkman or a dairyman or whatever. And it's like, men should be neat in their appearance. They should keep their lanterns clean. The cans used for wholesale milk and cream clean. And sweet glass and inside of wagons clean. Be a gentleman at all times. Don't waste time with one customer and neglect the others. Remember, the horse can't complain. It says, don't try to make up waste time with the horse. So, like, going faster to your next place. So they're talking, maybe the milkman back then was still using a horse and carriage. I don't know. So I don't know what time period that makes this, but these pictures, and there's more pages, you guys. It wasn't not every page that had a name had a kid's picture, but we think that's a little creepy. Like why? And who did somebody give him these pictures, and why? Like, how did that come to be? Was the guy like, hey, I'm your new milkman. Can I have a picture of your kid to put in my book? And of course I tried. So then I'm like, oh, I wonder if there's some unsolved murders where a dairyman was the prime suspect. But of course you can't really look that up. So then I was looking up things like, why would a dairy route book have pictures of kids in it? So let me know, do you think that's creepy? Like, you know, like the non-creepiest explanation I can have is, oh, well, they need to know that little Jimmy, it's okay for little Jimmy to pick up the milk when the milkman comes. But it doesn't really feel very safe. And I'm trying to see if, like, okay, these all seem to be boys. So then I'm also like, were these really milk route customers, or is this kid's name? And is this really something nefarious? Were there any girls? Okay, so we have, okay, so what's another option for this? That a school teacher is using this book because it's got grids, and so they're using it for their particular class. Instead of it being a milkman. And this one is Carol, and it's a girl's picture. So yeah, I kind of think that these names are these kids. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But I don't know. And I guess this one did have some kind of writing in it, but it's just not, it doesn't make any sense. So I hope I'm not sitting here holding like something that maybe I should do a Google search of these names that have pictures and see if I can find them, any of them. I don't know. So anyway, that appears to be, I ended on a weird creepy note. But yeah, that appears to be all of the stuff for this haul today. So let's end with a little bit of nostalgic TV trivia. You guys ready? All right. Leonard Nimoy narrates what show dealing with finding a variety of subjects? Name the detective on Vegas. What was Johnny Ringo before he became a lawman? Who played nightclub comedian Jerry Webster in The Accidental Family? Name the starship commanded by Captain James T. Kirk. What character did Martin Landau portray on Mission Impossible? Who played Lily on The Munsters? On All in the Family, what was Archie Bunker's favorite hangout called? Okay, you guys, this has a lot of potential. I've actually heard of most of these things, but I'm not gonna score very high. All right, Leonard Nimoy narrates what show dealing with finding a variety of subjects? I'm a big Star Trek fan, so I have done some reading about the lives of people that were in Star Trek. So I know a little bit about Leonard Nimoy, and I can, oh my gosh, if you've ever seen the music video of him with the Lord of the Rings Hobbit song, you should look that up on Facebook. It unfortunately gets under your skin in not a very good way. It's from the 70s, and it's weird, but yeah, you might look that up. But so I feel like I can kind of see this in the back of my mind, but I can't pull anything together, and I can't even think of a show. I can't even think of a show to name for that, so I guess I'm gonna pass on that. Name the detective on Vegas. I can never remember. We've had several Vegas cards on here, and I can never remember, so we're gonna say Frank. What was Johnny Ringo before he became a lawman? Well, he must have been a scoundrel of some sort, right? He was a jeweler. No, I feel like he had to be a thief or something, but I don't know what was the show named Johnny Ringo. I don't know. I'm gonna say a thief because I feel like it should have to be some kind of flip like that and not just a lawyer. Who played nightclub comedian Jerry Webster in The Accidental Family? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Jerry Van Dyke. I don't know why, except a lot of comedians keep their first names on the shows that they do. So if this was indeed a real comedian, the only other Jerry besides Jerry well, there's Jerry Stiller, but I'm gonna go with Jerry Van Dyke, even though I'm not sure before Coach if he really had shows that he was in. I don't know. Name the starship commanded by Captain James T. Kirk. Well, that is the Starship Enterprise. You know, okay, so here I did another, flipping through a book, and it had some, it must have been a Civil War book because it had some ships in it that were CSS. And I was like, oh, CSS, the C is probably Confederate. And sure enough, CSS was Confederate State Ship or States Ship. So I was like, well, what is USS? And it's literally just United States Ship. I don't know why I never knew that, but I was this many years old when I figured that out. Because it's the USS Enterprise. United States, maybe in that case it's Starship. United States Starship Enterprise. Or maybe it's United Starship I don't know. Anyway, what character did Martin Landau portray on Mission Impossible? Well, Leonard Nimoy was on Mission Impossible too. But Martin Landau, if only I had been watching Tom Cruise's movies lately, maybe I could say, but I'm going to say Jim Phelps, but I don't think that's right. And I think I've mentioned this on one of these because we've had a similar question before, and I cannot, he and his wife were both on it. Does that help me come up with an answer? I don't think it does, because the memories of that card are not coming back to me, so I don't know. Who played Lily on The Munsters? Well, I don't know what her real name was. She was the blonde, pretty one, right? So I don't know. I feel like she might have died recently, or was it the blonde on Beverly Hillbillies that died recently? On All in the Family, what was Archie Bunker's favorite hangout called? Well, I don't know, but didn't he, when this show became spun off after Edith died or whatever, they spun it off to Archie's Place because he bought his favorite hangout, right, and then changed the name to Archie's Place. So I don't know I don't remember what the Brewster's Place, I don't remember what it was called. So yeah, I'm not going to score very high on this. So Leonard Nimoy narrates what show dealing with finding a variety of subjects? In Search of Mr. Spock. Okay. In Search of, well, that makes sense. Name the detective on Vegas. Dan Tana, not Frank. What was Johnny Ringo before he became a lawman? A gunfighter. Well, you guys, that's very similar. Okay. I got a point on this one. Who played nightclub comedian Jerry Webster in The Accidental Family? It was Jerry Van Dyke. Yay! Sometimes your powers of logic can swing in for the win. Name the starship commanded by Captain James T. Kirk. It was the USS Enterprise. What character did Martin Landau portray on Mission Impossible? Roland Hand. Okay, I was not going to pull that out. That doesn't even sound familiar. Now, granted, I watched that show probably back in the early 80s, so when I was less than 10 years old, so yeah, I just don't remember. And I don't remember, was that a character from the movies too? I only remember Phelps, you know, because Phelps was the bad guy in the first movie. So I don't know. Okay, who played Lily on The Munsters? Yvonne DiCarlo. Oh, wait, is that the mom? Yvonne DiCarlo was the mom, wasn't she? Lily Munster. Why did I think that was the daughter? Well, okay, whatever. On All in the Family, what was Archie Bunker's favorite hangout called? Kelsey's Bar. So did he make it Archie's Bar? Or was the show just called Archie's Place, but the bar was still Kelsey's Bar? I don't know. I did not watch that show. Right? That was, yeah, they spun that off after Edith, because Carol O'Connor still wanted to do, I'm pretty sure I'm not making that up. Well, yeah, because, well, no, this is talking about All in the Family. Well, I don't think I made that up. I should look it up, but I'm not going to. So that is it for this episode. Thank you so much. I know, well, I need to not be so negative. Just thank you for watching and visiting with me, whatever day this is airing. Let me go in real quick and say thank you to my members. And let me go to the wrong place first because I am a dork who never, I don't know why I have such a hard time with this, you guys. I really, this is not rocket science. All right. Well, we are back up to 7. Thank you. I want to thank Mary, and I want to thank Julie and Katie and Favorites with Laura and Darlene and Hey Everybody and Pam. Thank you so much for being members. Thank you so much to the 2,800 plus of you that are subscribers. I really appreciate that. And thank you to those of you that just happened to stop by and weren't totally repulsed by what you were seeing. Yeah, so I think that we're just taking this channel one day at a time, and unfortunately we're never gonna know what we see on here. And yeah, I still haven't made another Temu order. I still don't have access to any, I still don't have access to buy anything directly from Temu. It's still all local warehouse. And someone pointed out, and this is very true, that even on Amazon there are some things that you still have to pay shipping for, even though you might have Prime, which is very true. Although in my metropolitan area, I'm not sure how much of that I see, but I do see some. But I don't buy those things. And so yeah, so I don't know. I'm sure things will settle out eventually, and then maybe I'll get access to old-fashioned Temu back at some point. But until then, unfortunately, I don't see, when I'm scrolling through my Temu feed, I don't see the kind of things that I'm wanting to buy. It's very limited in the variety of things that I see in mine. And when I go search for things, they're very pricey compared to what I'm used to paying. So yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what we'll do each time we see each other, but I hope that you're interested in just spending time, and for those of you that really like antiques, maybe you enjoy some of the things that I'm finding in the antique stores. But yeah, I may have a Dollar Tree haul coming up, but yeah, we'll just see what happens. So thank you so much for going on this journey with me. I know your time's valuable, and it's probably easier to follow channels that kind of know what they're doing and just have it more together. You guys, I don't have it together, and I may never have it together. So I appreciate those of you that are patient and kind, and yeah, so thank you once again, and wherever you are, whenever you are, I hope you're having a great day. And until we meet again, please take care of yourself. Bye.